HBCUs teach their students pride and character, while other colleges and universities teach wealth. What do you think about that? Stay tuned. We're talking about it next. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's edition of Entrepreneur Insider. I'm your host and the founder of the Black Entrepreneurs Network, Tia Robertson. This week we are talking about HBCUs, pride, character, building wealth, and everything in between. Thank you for joining us. Now, I recently heard a quote or a statement that says, HBCUs teach their students pride and character, while other universities and colleges teach their students how to build wealth. Now, to make sure we define a few terms, HBCU stands for Historically Black College and University, and other refers to colleges and universities that are not historically Black universities or colleges. So those traditional Ivy League, predominantly Caucasian universities and colleges. When I heard this quote, I knew it was something that we had to discuss on an episode of Entrepreneur Insider, because not only is this the place to discuss business topics, it's also the place where we discuss things that are relevant to people and entrepreneurs of color. The reality is, yes, HBCUs do instill a sense of pride and character in the people that attend those institutions, but there also are some amazing business and entrepreneur programs that people can learn more about. So I encourage us to not necessarily categorize the type of education you'll get at a HBCU versus a non-HBCU. They're both amazing in their own rights, with pros and cons for each. I challenge each of you to do your own research and determine what may work best for you. Here's a hint: you're never too late to go back to school, or your friends or your family. Encourage people to support HBCUs because they do build pride, they do build character, but some amazing professionals are also born and raised in those institutions. And I challenge everyone that's watching this video to share what you know about money, about wealth building, about entrepreneurship. Although we may not have access to the same information in our communities of color, it doesn't mean that we have to retain and keep what we know to ourselves. Everything we learn is intended to share with others. So whether you went to a HBCU or not, now that you know about money, about wealth, about education, about entrepreneurship, about financial gain, about financial literacy, generational wealth, anything else and more, accounting, bookkeeping, assisting people, organization, productivity, you get where I'm going with this. Share it with someone and help them on their journey, because the reality is not everyone goes to an institute of higher learning. Sometimes people learn through life, and all of us, every single one of us, needs to know the things that help us get to the next level. And the way we do that is by sharing and having these conversations. At a recent networking event, I brought up this topic because I wanted to hear what some entrepreneurs of color had to say about their experience, about how they felt about this quote, and about what we can do to make a difference so that everyone has the benefit of financial education and wealth building information. Stay tuned and let me know your thoughts down in the comments below.
So I heard something the other day and I want to kind of get everyone's opinion on it. And again, this will help you encourage, to build relationships and community and know who to reach out to because you have stuff in common with. So what I heard was about HBCUs. And so just to make sure everyone's on the same page, historically Black colleges and universities, which I'm a proud graduate of. So no bias there, but a little bit of bias. HBCUs, when it comes to the people that attend them and their students, they are building, in terms of colleges, they are building wealth where HBCUs are building pride and character. And so just again, to make sure you understand who they is a a regular college or university, not one of color. So I think of a Harvard or a Stanford or Michigan State. So they are teaching their students how to build wealth, whereas HBCUs are building pride and character. And I heard that the other day and it really kind of struck me. What do you all think of that? And you're welcome to come off mute. If I see like two people at the same time, I'll try to facilitate, but the floor is open.
So I guess the question is, since you are a HBCU, do you feel that way? Yes or no?
Absolutely. I mean, really quick to answer it, I didn't take a business course or entrepreneurship course, to be more specific, until I went to Johns Hopkins. So really quick, I went to Morgan State for undergrad, and then I went to Johns Hopkins because I wanted the experience of not being around people of color, just to kind of to see. And that's where I learned entrepreneurship. And not that my family didn't plant the seed, but yeah, absolutely. It was really about pride and football, and I mean, not that they don't do that at other schools too, but yeah, so it struck a chord with me. Anybody else? Actually, let me ask this. Has anybody been to a HBCU or attended, graduate?
Not me. I went to a couple of frat parties and I ended up going to trade school because I wasn't learning going to college. I would have partied too.
Okay. I think, was it Jamari? I saw two hands. Was it Jamari and Tamita they went to HBCUs? It was Doug. Okay. Doug did. Doug, what school did you go to?
Bethune-Cookman.
Bethune-Cookman in the house. Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Did you feel like there was an emphasis on the students becoming entrepreneurs and starting businesses there, or really just?
I was a student athlete, so I don't even think they encouraged me to be a student, if I could be honest with you.
Yeah.
Basketball kind of was like a full-time job. In school, I was studying biology, so that was also a full-time job for me. So like to even learn about what you're talking about, like the generational wealth, entrepreneurship, it just wasn't talked about. You know, we mainly learned just about the history of the school, but not really about what we're talking about, business, you know, just like I said, I play basketball. So it was just basketball. So definitely something they need to fix. And that's part of the reason I dropped out, because I was just like, I didn't see where it was leading me to. I didn't even really want to play basketball seriously. And I really didn't even want to be in school seriously. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So, you know.
That's a good point. And so you left because you felt like they weren't encouraging that?
Yeah, it was just more partying. I'm sorry, I didn't.
Andre was probably at your school.
Yeah,
Andre was at your school.
Yeah, like, you know, it was just partying, like you said, band, football, you know, things like that were pushed more. And like you said, that type of mindset, that's what keeps us back, because even though you have that degree, what are you going to go do now?
Absolutely. You know? Yeah, go ahead, Amelia.
I think it's great that there is an institution that's teaching us how to be wealthy, because I went to school to do business. As part of my degree, I had to do an entrepreneurship class, and I nailed it. But I did my business plan. We did a killer marketing strategy. Like literally, we printed our business cards, we printed our shirts, we did when I tell you we did the whole 9 yards, we went into the streets, literally. And we—
Who was this?
This is in Jamaica, University of Technology. Okay. And we interviewed people, like random people on the street, and we did marketing surveys. It was awesome. We literally nailed it. We brought our samples to class. Everybody partook in our samples and everything. It was amazing, but I'm telling you, that did not prepare me for building wealth. And it certainly did not prepare me to build a business.
Yeah.
So I think if there's an institution out there that's actually giving those real life skills, that's amazing, especially to our community, because we're not taught those things. We have to go seek them. And the truth is, or it's not our fault. It's just that it wasn't taught to us. It wasn't taught to our parents. And so they couldn't even teach it to us.
Yep.
So it's amazing that now our eyes are being open. We're learning these things. And then we can come into forums like this and share with other people, you know? I think that's amazing. And I was talking to a friend last week, and I was telling her, I said, girl, she's a nurse practitioner. I said, listen, if
hey, Dakota, there you go. Okay, sorry.
5 years ago, what I know now, you think I would be sitting right here?
Absolutely, yeah.
No way.
You wouldn't. Yeah. So your school that you went to in Jamaica, was it a Black school or it was a non-Black school?
Well, we're Black in Jamaica, so technically.
Well, but you know, that doesn't mean that you owned it. You know, that's why I was like, okay, cool. All right, cool. Thanks, Amelia. All right, Miss Tamita.
I think also for me being a hairstylist, coming up, I've been doing hair for 18 years. They didn't even teach me even just how to file taxes in the beginning. All I knew basically was just to do hair, and just do work. You know, they didn't even say put money aside to, you know, pay yourself. I didn't know that till 5-10 years on down the line. And by that time it was too late. All I knew was to, you know, buy products. So it took a while. Even when I went to TSU, I did go there for a little while. And of course, just like Doug, it was football, frat, sorority, you know, as long as you became an AKA, a Delta, you know, it was that thing, you know, it was nothing about no wealth, no money, no nothing. That's all it was, basically. Band, and that was it.
So just out of curiosity, when you went to cosmetology school, did they teach you how to do hair for people that were like white or Caucasian or not of color? Or okay.
Yeah, it's
kind of wonder when I go to school, because I'm like, they teach you. They teach you how to do everybody's hair
on Black people hair at all. That's
oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, it's yeah, we had to teach them how to do our hair.
Yeah. Okay.
So
thank you.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Is there any schools now that would teach you for Black people here now, or no? So it's still the same old, same old.
It's still kind of the same old, same old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Dakota.
Of course, you know, we teach them, but for the most part, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, Dakota.
This is a very engaging conversation because T and I talked about this during networking. On the platform, when we do a networking event, not saying something wrong with that, but it's a party for us. Smoking, drinking, hanging out. I went to a networking event recently. I don't drink and smoke, right? But I'm giving cards out, you know, because that's what I do, you know, to try to build a business network. But most people who were there are employees. And then on top of that, they started a party, you know, drinking, smoking, but they are not there to build a business though. So I don't know. I mean, even I'll be honest with you, even though I went to a white school, or white schools, I should say, even doing accounting, they didn't teach me how to do a business. They taught me how to do accounting to be an employee, but not be an accountant to work, to create my own business. You know, they tell me, good job and build, you know, become a partner, or CPA, whatever, but not to own practice. They teach you how to be an employee, but not own your own business. And to me, I lived in Hendersonville, Tennessee for about 7 years, so I know about TSU.
Okay, cool. All right, thanks, Dakota. And Jamari.
I was just gonna say, I think I got it like lucky here because all my mentors were white or whatever. So they actually showed me, like, my first mentor actually taught me about real estate, like in 3rd grade. And so I had him all the way up until like freshman year or whatever. And so he taught me about real estate. And then my other mentor did banking or whatever, and like finances or whatever. And so then I would be able to get to meet like CEOs of companies. And then like I was able, like, at least here in like Texas or whatever, I know I got to meet like some of the Congress members and stuff like that. Yeah, it's insane how many connections they have. But I guess I got it lucky, I guess, because like that's why I didn't want to go to college, because of the partying and whatnot.
So you bring up a good point, and we'll kind of wrap up in a few minutes. But let me just ask, is that something that maybe we as people of color should consider doing, right? Getting mentors that are allies, that have a different perspective, learn from them, and then go back into our communities or find people of color to teach those things to? Would you feel comfortable doing something like that?
I support that 100%. There are white mentors out there who actually care about teaching everybody.
Yeah.
Some of them don't want to keep it to themselves. And I actually have one right now. She's amazing. She's an accountant. She's a business owner for over 15 years. She's doing great. She has 2 businesses. And I've learned a lot from her. And just by listening to what she has to say, like, I wish I could be on a huge platform with people of color to just tell them everything I know. Like, seriously.
See, now you're a member of this platform, so you can. So when I'm reaching out to you to be hosting some masterminds,
No, seriously, I wish
no, I'm serious.
people could just know the information, and instead of being brainwashed, because I remember growing up, I was taught, and I did everything right. I did what they told me to do. I went to school. I got good grades. I passed everything. I went to college. I got married. I had my kid. I started working up the corporate ladder. And then I'm like, hold up. This is too expensive. Corporate life is too expensive. Being an employee is very costly. You have to, you sacrifice so much, and then all you get, good job, you're doing so good. Nobody want to hear that.
I want to hear that.
When you beg for a raise.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know, Dakota, I don't know if your hand was, if you just put it back up or if it never came down, but Andre, okay. So then Andre, go ahead.
Okay, so I have a little different take on it. Yes, going to the communities is good, but getting people out to our communities that's successful is better. When I was in Chicago, we have a 12,000 square foot office in Oak Brook. Oak Brook is a wealthy area. They have out there banks. You have to have a minimum of $250,000 to put in the bank account before you can get a bank account. So getting people from their community, because when you go, it's just you. They can blow that off. But when they come out to an office like we have in Chicago suburbs, where 44% of our company is Hispanic, 23% is Black, white is only like 14%. So if we can get them in our community, they can at least believe, because they're seeing people that's being successful, making 100,000, 500,000, making $2 million a year. So I'm real big on that. And then another reason too why I invite people out to my house, when I meet people, I like to know their families. So we have a decent house, but where we live at, it's in a nice neighborhood. So they come out, they feed us, we get to know them. Now they know that we're just like they are. We just went in a certain direction. We ended up being successful, and they have that same option where it's harder to dismiss. Oh, well, they got lucky. They got lucky. I said, no, we work too. We're just like you. We're nothing special. So.
Okay, thank you, Andre. And Brandon, I see you're off mute. Did you want to add something? Or?
No, I just wanted to say, like, you know, I support people that don't go to college, because I did, and I went through that system, going to college, leading that corporate lifestyle, and I wasn't happy. And I'm like, something wrong with me? Like, I just don't like doing this every day. Like, it's not my thing. Even though I was getting paid good money, and people are like, are you crazy? Like, you have a good job, you're relaxing. I'm like, nah, I have to do something. So with me, I had to quit my job, and through trial and error, like, had to figure it out on my own. And I wish I had that mentor to actually help me out or whatnot, like Jamari has, which is great. But basically, it really learned me to be just really resourceful and to actually pump up or get better with my communication skills. Because at my work, I never liked picking up the phone, never liked making phone calls, but being and working on your own makes you hustle and grind, and makes you actually have to do the things that you don't want to do. And it actually makes you a better person for it. So, like, I'm glad I took that jump and left that corporate lifestyle. Now I work for a startup company, which is more close-knit, and which I do like a lot better, just because you get to know everybody. You're not treated like a number. That's what I'm into. So yeah.
Yeah, and you have a lot of opportunity to grow, probably.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Tamika.
I'm backwards.
Plus equity.
I will say that I'm backwards. So now I've been an entrepreneur. And so now that I've moved, I work for corporate now. And when I tell you, y'all, I hate it. I mean it. Like, I mean it. I hate it. And I hate it is because of that. And it's like, I can see the BS that they try to throw at you. And it's like, the people walk around like you should just be grateful. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No, like, no. And then not only that, when I see the numbers and I see what I'm getting paid, it just doesn't sit right in my soul. You know, like, it literally doesn't sit right in my soul. So right now, of course, I'm in a moment like, okay, like, what am I going to do? But I had to call my mom, like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how people sit and listen to corporate. I don't know how you do it. That's all.
I think a lot of it probably just kind of depends on who they work with. Like, you're in a bad situation. So in that case, I don't think it would ever necessarily work out. Your mom might be just around better people that are open-minded, because the people around you feel like you're supposed to have crumbs and be happy. Okay, sorry. And definitely, I don't know, Samita, I don't know if you met Dakota before, but you and Dakota probably should talk offline as well about just kind of some options. I can elaborate that in a second, but okay, go ahead, Amelia, and then we will wrap up.
I was just gonna agree with Brandon. Right now, I feel like quitting. Like, today, I was so adamant. I'm just gonna say I quit, be done with it, and return their laptop to them and be done.
No, I totally understand. I kind of like the rest of you. I've gone from being an employee, being a full-time entrepreneur, to working. Nice. They're gone. Sorry. So yeah, so I totally understand the back and forth. It can, there's pros and cons to both, because sometimes people don't tell you entrepreneurship is hard too, right? I mean, sometimes
Being an owner of a
just like,
business
forget
is
it.
pretty hard.
It's hard, but you know, if I keep saying, if we exert the same energy that we put into corporate America in ourselves, we'd be way better off.
Yeah. I think though, like what Andre is like pretty right about that though, like having them come to our community, because of the fact that when someone leaves the community, they're usually looked at as like a like sellout or whatever. And, you know, that like that crab mentality, I guess, it kind of starts to kick in, and especially like when you go back or whatever, and then you try to help build that out. Sometimes it's like, does the community also want to do it? Like, for example, like I said this a few weeks back in this meeting, like in the IT like sector, there's not a lot of Black people in the IT sector, but it's one of the biggest like sectors that is growing. So if there are more of us in it while it's growing, by the time it's like really like cooled off, which would be a while, we'd be the ones that would dominate that sector.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, one of the things, and I kind of, both of you and Andre kind of helped me with this segue. So just a kind of reminder, we haven't had one, hopefully in July, but I do agree that it is helpful to, well, a combination of both, going to share information, because sometimes people aren't receptive to people that come into their community, but also, you know, having people come into our community. And so that is one of the things that I strive to do here, is bring resources to this community to help us with our skill set. So just a quick reminder, if there is something that you need in your business, or someone that you think would provide insight to other people in this community, I am always looking for professional development speakers. So, you know, you can always recommend them, or if you can just, like, even we've had a situation where people needed help with marketing. They're like, I don't know anybody, but I need help with marketing. Just let me know that as well, and I can kind of go out and find resources. And then some of you are really, thank you, Andre. Some of you are really, proficient and knowledgeable in your industry, and depending on, you know, what that is, you know, we can always have you teach. So I'm kind of going to use like Dakota and, like, of course, our spotlights as an example, and like the one that Andre did earlier this month. You know, when people are a member of the Black Entrepreneurs Network, you have an opportunity to share your experience. And not only are you helping people learn something that they probably don't know, whether it's about money or about insurance or about styling themselves or having confidence, you also are reaching new people that could be prospective clients or customers. So there is a lot of value in this community, from a learning as well as a giving education perspective.
I want to know your thoughts on today's episode and this topic, so be sure to share them down below. I look forward to reading them. Now, if you'd like to be featured or sponsor an upcoming episode, be sure to email me at info@theblackentrepreneursnetwork.com. As always, the show is brought to you in partnership with Relationship Entertainment Television. Be sure to check out their full lineup of positive and engaging programming. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, be sure to do so now. Hit that red button down below. While you're there, hit the bell so you're notified when new episodes of Entrepreneur Insider premiere every Thursday at 6 p.m. Don't forget to share and like this episode. Until next time, don't forget, be great. Peace.
Tune in to Millionaire Man Cave, only on Relationship Entertainment Television, Tuesdays at 8 p.m.
is Tyron.
And Nicole with your weekly RATV News Break. Each Thursday at 12 noon Eastern, we'll come to you with the latest news, trends, and more with a positive spin.
We know there's a lot of positive news that doesn't get reported, but we want to give you the opportunity to share your story here on RATV. If you have a positive news story you want us to share, you can submit your story to news@re-tv.net.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Relationship Entertainment Television YouTube channel. Download the new RATV Live app on your mobile device and follow Relationship Entertainment Television on your favorite social media platform.
Don't forget, make sure you tune into the RATV News Break each Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Until then, be blessed and be great.
Welcome to What's Going On? My name is Demita Joe. Each Wednesday, you can find me here at 3 p.m. I'll be over here discussing different things that are going on and try to bring you a boost of positivity for your week because we all need this. We're going to share some feel-good stories. We might find a hometown hero. We may take a look at some trending topics. And sometimes we might even find a lesson in a not-so-warm and fuzzy story if we can. I'm Demita Joe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode right here on What's Going On? Hey, it's your girl Tia Robertson. I'm the host of Entrepreneur Insider. Right here on RATV. Every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern for entrepreneurs and news that you need to know about. See you there.